your girl Mercedes, and we are back with another video. So guys, this video is going to be a very emotional one for me, as I am going to talk about how we lost our firstborn, Adrian Josiah Willis, to a stillbirth. It's going to be really hard for me, but I love to talk about Adrian. I do tear up at some moments. Sometimes I don't tear up. I don't really know how this is going to go, but this is a story that I do want to get out there. I do want to raise awareness for stillborn and stillbirths. I also want to let you guys know what signs to kind of look out for, and just give advice to those parents that did go through a stillbirth, because it's hard. Dealing with it is very hard. Grief is hard. It's almost been 3 years for us, coming up in February, and I do still grieve. Like, I do still find myself in bed crying. So I do want to tell you guys that story, and just let you guys know about our beautiful baby boy that did not get to make it home with us, but is our guardian angel. So stay tuned for this story. So as you guys know, my husband and I got married in May of 2016, and by August of 2016, we got our first positive pregnancy test, and we were so excited, guys. We were so happy. We just got married. We were in a good place. We just moved into literally a new place. We were financially stable. We were just ready for a baby. We both talked about it before we got married. Of course, we wanted kids. Of course, there was no time frame of when we were going to have kids, because we knew we loved each other from the start. So yes, we were so excited. I had a very peaceful pregnancy, guys. I had never been pregnant before, of course. So it was just a lot of different things that I had to get adjusted with, especially when Adrian got a little bit older in the womb and he would kick me all night. And I'm just thinking, like, is this normal? Is this supposed to be happening? Because Adrian was not like any of my other pregnancies after him. That boy kicked so much. So much. He was just rolling. And I actually let my OBGYN know that that was a concern for me, because what happens if he moves so much? He gets trapped, like tangled in his umbilical cord. And she's like, oh no, even if he does get tangled, it wouldn't affect him, you know, coming out or passing away in the womb. And everything after that was fine. I did around 32 weeks go into the hospital for the first time ever for reduced movements, because Adrian hadn't moved that day. And as I told you guys, Adrian moved so much. So whenever he would slow down with his movements, it caused concern for me. So of course, when he's not moving, like, I'm like, why the heck isn't he moving? So I went in, they gave me some apple juice and something to crunch on. And then they brought in the fetal Doppler that they put over your stomach, also with a contraction band, just to see if you're having any contractions and to monitor you. So as soon as they put that fetal Doppler on, Adrian started moving, guys. He did not like that at all. He didn't like the fetal Doppler. And you can actually hear the noise, boom, 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 in his heartbeat. And you could hear everything that's going on in my belly. So he would kick it and move away from it, like, please get this off of me. So everything turned out all right. He was just, I guess, sleepy from moving around so much. And another 2 days, we're back at the hospital because he's not moving. And I'm that kind of parent that's going to press it, like, you know, what's going on? Is he okay? All of that. So we did the same steps. And of course, Adrian started moving. And then around 33 weeks, my mother-in-law told us that she would like to pay for our maternity pictures. And I could not pass that up, guys. Maternity pictures are expensive, and I was not willing to pay that, because I was like, there is something that I can get for Adrian for $300, okay? I was not going to pay that. So I was so happy that she paid it. I actually do have a picture right here of our maternity shoot. This is the one that I am planning to frame, because I do plan to go ahead and get a curio for all of Adrian's belongings. So yes, this is one of my favorite pictures. That's why I kind of blew it up. That maternity shoot was so lovely. I still remember it. It was just beautiful, guys. So yes, we went to Alabama and went and got that maternity shoot done. All was well. We got back home. I was about to hit the 34-week mark. And on February 27th of 2017, Adrian was moving the most I've ever felt him move. And I was just thinking, hey, I'm 34 weeks today. So maybe it's just him growing more and noticing that he's out of room. He don't have no room. So I figured, hey, it's fine. He moved so much, like just all day. So by the time the nighttime came around, those movements slowly stopped. And in my mind, I'm just like, Mercedes, don't psych yourself out. You don't need to go to the hospital. Adrian has been moving all day. He is tired. So I let myself go to sleep. And that morning I woke up. My husband usually gets ready for PT around 5:30 a.m. And, you know, he woke me up and told me he was leaving. And by the time he came back to shower and get ready for work, I let him know that I hadn't felt Adrian move, and I didn't want to cause any concern. I said, maybe he's still just sleepy from yesterday. So I said, if anything, I will let you know if we need to make a hospital trip or, you know, what's just going on and keep him updated. So, I started just trying to get him to move. Usually I could talk to my belly and Adrian would flip out. Like, he loved his mommy. He loved my voice. That was like our bond. Like, he could be asleep and I could just be like, hey baby, and he'd just start kicking and rolling and tumbling around in my stomach. So I did that and nothing worked, and so I decided to go on the wives page, and I wanted to get a little bit of tips, basically what they did to get their babies to move in the womb when they weren't really moving. So they gave me a few tips, and I did follow one of them, which I should have thought of, was taking a shower. When I would shower, Adrian would try to kick the water, guys. The water would just run on my stomach and he would flip out. He would flip out. So I learned to just like sit down in the shower, especially because I was already like 34 weeks, like I'm big. So I learned to sit down in the shower and wash up that way. So that way it doesn't irritate him, because he acted a fool when I would take a shower. So, you know, I tried the shower. I tried drinking something really cold, and I felt no movement at all. And that's when I started to get a little bit worried. So I called my husband at work and I let him know, hey, I haven't felt the baby move and I really want to go and get it checked out. So basically he let his commander know, and his commander said, well, take her the car and have her bring you back to work. Which was strange to me, because this is his child too, you know, so you're going to make me take my husband all the way back to work and go to the hospital by myself in something like this. And I tried to stay calm through it all because I didn't want my husband to worry, especially at work. And I kept telling myself, there's nothing to worry about. They're going to put that fetal Doppler on your stomach and Adrian will be moving like normal. So I tried to calm myself down and not psych my husband out, knowing that he had to go back to work and that he couldn't come along to the hospital. So I went ahead and got ready and took him back to work. And by then I still had not felt Adrian move, not even like a nudge. So I'm on my way to the hospital and I start to pray and I start to cry, because in my spirit, I just felt like something wasn't right. Like something was wrong. I was just begging God, just please let him kick. I'm going to still go to the hospital, but just please let me feel some kind of movement. And I didn't feel any movement. So I did go ahead and go upstairs to labor and delivery, which is where you would go when you feel reduced movements at that stage that I was, which is in my third trimester, 34 weeks. So I let them know, hey, I'm here because I don't feel my baby moving. Oh, you're back again. And I kind of just let that smart remark go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm back again. So they have me sit down and say that they're going to get the nurse in my room ready. And I'm just freaking out because I felt like it took forever to call me back. And this whole time I'm like, why isn't my baby moving? I'm in tears, like I start crying. And we get to the back and they have me sit down on the bed at normal routine. And they put the fetal Doppler on my stomach. And you don't hear a heartbeat. You don't hear movement. It was just very silent. And I never realized that sound because Adrian's heart was either beating or you would hear him moving. So I'm just telling myself, everything's okay, Mercedes. Adrian is just asleep. And so the nurse says, well, maybe he's just towards the back more, so we can't find it. So she do it for another 5 minutes, and that's when I started to realize that something is not right. I did text my husband and I said, hey, they cannot find his heartbeat. And so the nurse still couldn't find it, and she went and got the doctor, and he brought in the ultrasound machine. And I've had plenty of ultrasounds, more than usual, because I love seeing our baby, and my doctors were like, okay. So I had more than usual, and basically he came in there and he put some gel on my stomach, as they always do. And he put the ultrasound right on my stomach, and it was a very clear picture, guys. It was very clear. Adrian was not moving, and where you could literally see his heart fluttering, there was nothing. It wasn't moving. So the doctor did not have to tell me anything. I just knew what had happened, and I started immediately crying and screaming, and I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Like, I felt like I died in that room. I died in that room because we lost our firstborn, guys. If you guys know me, you know how excited I was for that. You would have saw my posts on Snapchat every morning of me telling Adrian, good morning, baby. And you guys just, if you know me, you know how excited we were for Adrian to be there. So, yeah, seeing that he was gone was very challenging for me because I didn't understand how. At that time, I didn't know what a stillbirth was or stillborn was. And I had to educate myself on it. I had to get the doctors to educate that for me as well. But I had to call my husband, guys. I had to call him and tell him that our baby was gone while he was at work and not able to be there with me for that moment, for us to be there for each other. So that was probably the hardest part, besides losing him, of course, was finding that news out alone. I couldn't, like, no one could hold me. I didn't have no one to cry on. It was just like, wow. So I really had to just sit and take that in. And I called him, and his battle buddy brought him to the hospital. And he was still a little confused. He was just like, there's nothing you can do. Are you sure? Are you sure? Just asking the doctor. And they're like, I'm sorry, sir. And then they started talking to us about induction and when we wanted to go ahead and get admitted into the hospital. So I'm still trying to process everything. I'm still thinking about everything that we have to do now that we just got this terrible news. So first thing we did, of course, was call our parents. My in-laws were 5 hours away. So as soon as they got the news, they got on the road to come to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And my parents were in Germany along with my little sister. And that was the hardest call for me because it was a FaceTime call. And we only could use FaceTime because they were in Germany and they didn't have a number. Because I probably, if they were here in the States, I would have much rather had called them through the phone. But it was a FaceTime call that we had to tell them through. And I had never, ever seen my mom cry, ever. And she bawled on the phone, and that broke my heart. And from then I started to blame myself because I started to tell myself, you should have went in, you should have did this, you should have did that. And sometimes I still do try to blame myself, even though I know that sometimes things like this just happen. So we let our parents know, and my mother and stepdad and little sister got a plane ticket right away. So as soon as they got on the plane, of course, it was going to take a few hours to get back to the States and then to us in Kentucky. So we went home. The nurse said, do not make any decisions right now. Just go home and process what you've just been told. So we went home, and I went upstairs to Adrian's nursery, and I sat there and cried. I dropped down to my knees and cried. And my husband came in there and scooped me up and put me on the bed in our room and just told me to lay down and that he would pack the bags. But then he tried to lay down with me and rub my belly. And at that point, I'm just like, he's not there anymore. Like, don't do that. He's gone. So I was kind of upset about that. And I noticed laying on my side that it was a lot heavier than usual because of Adrian's dead weight. So at that moment, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I just want them to take him out. I can't. Like, I just didn't want him in my stomach anymore. So I did tell my mom that we were going to try to wait until she got there from Germany, but I couldn't, guys. Like, it was so hard to just even know that he was in there, not moving, lifeless. That's it. I don't even know what to say, guys. So we packed our bags and went back to the hospital, and from there they admitted me and started the induction. The other hardest part about it for me was knowing that I had to push out a baby and get breast milk for a baby that wasn't going to be able to go home, that wasn't going to be alive. That was so hard to take in. And I definitely didn't want to do a natural birth, because why go through all the way natural and I'm not getting any benefits from it. So I definitely did make sure I got an epidural. So I didn't really feel any contractions too much. I got the epidural, just didn't want to talk. I didn't want to speak to anyone. So I just laid there. I asked everyone to turn off the light and just basically leave me alone. Later that night, my in-laws finally made it in, and they like hugged us, and they went back to our house because the hospital was kind of packed. So they went back to our house and started cleaning up. Thank God for them. And basically the next morning they came back, of course. And through that night, my epidural started wearing off. So I had to get another one, and I was not happy about that, but hey, whatever. And around 3:50, my water broke. And the doctors came in just to check to make sure, because I felt it myself, and I pressed the button like, hey, my water just broke. She came in and said, it's almost time to start pushing. And then all these thoughts came to my head, like, am I really ready to see him? Like, he's not going to be breathing. So I'm starting to cry more. And by 4:33, Adrian is out. That was the time that he was born. And they asked, hey, do you want to see him right now, or do you want us to go and wash him off and bring him back to you? And I asked for them to bring him back, wash him off, before I saw him, because I was just scared. I still had to process that I just gave birth to a 4-pound, 13-ounce baby, my baby, that is not going to go home with me, that is not breathing. His heart is not beating. It was just so much to take in at once. So they took him for a little bit. And someone came in and talked to me about someone coming to take pictures for us. And at first I was like, no, I don't want pictures. But then I had to let myself realize this is all I'm going to have ever. This is the only memories that I am going to have. I want pictures done. So we let them go ahead and come take pictures. And of course, they were free for parents who did go through a stillborn or stillbirth. And I met Adrian, and I started crying more because Adrian looked like he was sleeping. He didn't look like he was no longer living. He looked like he was sleeping. He was the most precious thing ever, ever. And I didn't want to let him go. I didn't want them to take him back. I just still had to process even, are we going to bury him? Are we going to cremate him? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? So by then, even in my pictures, my eyes were like almost swollen shut. It was just very hard for me. So they came in and took Adrian back because they tried to keep his body cold, of course. And we just relaxed a little bit. Someone came in and talked to us about what we wanted to do, what morgue we wanted to choose, and which one we should choose. They gave us a little bit of advice because we've never been through anything like this. Guys, I've never really lost anyone so important to me. And the first person was my son. And that was just the hardest thing ever. So we were just deciding, and I'm like, we don't live here at Fort Campbell. We live here, but this is not our home. This is not where we want to retire. I don't want to go somewhere into another duty station and leave him behind here, somewhere I didn't even like. I did not like Fort Campbell. So we decided to go ahead and get him cremated and get an urn for him. And so while I'm on Amazon, I find some urn necklaces. And I'm just like, those are pretty cool because I could have one, my husband could have one, our parents, our siblings, and that way wherever we go, he goes with us. So if I'm at home and I would have left his urn at home and I'm like on vacation, he's not there. But being that he's with me all the time, I put his ashes in this urn necklace that I wear all the time, guys. I don't take it off. If it doesn't match my outfit, I tuck it in my shirt, but it's still on me. It's still near my heart. It has little footprints on it to symbolize Adrian. So yes, we did go ahead and get him cremated. And it was just really hard. I got discharged from the hospital. My family started coming in from out of town. And I wanted them to see Adrian because they didn't get to make it to the hospital. So we went to the morgue one last time to see him. And that was really hard. It was really hard to say goodbye. Like, how do you say goodbye to your child? So we went there and they were like, okay, let us get him ready. You guys wait out front and we'll call you to the room whenever we got his body ready. So they went and did that, and sure enough, he came out like this, in a little basket with a pillow to lay his head and a blanket around him. And yes, that is my baby. That is my firstborn. That is my baby boy. That is my heart. So yes, he looked so beautiful. My family got to see him. I kissed and hugged him and just looked at him for the longest time until I couldn't anymore. And we said our final goodbyes to Adrian before the cremation. And that was so hard. It was so hard. I wanted to take him home. So, yeah, we left the funeral home. We went out to eat. And guys, I was just not up for it. Everyone was laughing and trying to get me to be in a better mood. But how can you laugh? How could I, not how could them, but how could I laugh and try to enjoy myself after what just happened? I can't even let myself, smile. So, yes, we did all of that. And then our family went home. So that is basically the story of Adrian. And I did want to share with you guys some of the stuff that the hospital did give me upon getting discharged, which is this memory box. And I hold it very dear to my heart because it has some of the most precious things in it. I'm going to show you guys and share that with you. So, of course, it has and came with this sign. And I'll go ahead and read that for you guys. I always do it upside down, guys. Okay, there we go. And it says, the memory box. This memory box provides a place to keep special items that you connect with your loved one. To hold, touch, and remember treasure mementos and memories is a healthy part of adjusting to a loss. The box offers a place to go to think about the individual and moment shared. What you put inside is up to you. There are no right or wrong things to include, only those things that are special to you and your loved one. To tie the ribbons is to offer a type of closure. To untie them and to open the memory box is to open up oneself to remembering that special someone. By remembering, we keep what is precious and most special as treasures in our heart forever. So I didn't really read this until a few weeks ago. I never really noticed this card, which is strange. And we also have the time card, that he was born at 4:33. He was 4 pounds and 13 ounces, and the doctor was Dr. Tucker. I love her. She doesn't work there anymore, but I love her. We also got, of course, his handprints, his little handprints, which is beautiful. And behind there, of course, is his footprints. I am going to try and get one of these tattooed on me somewhere. I don't know where. If you guys have any ideas, let me know because I'm going to get it. We also had like a wisp of his hair, and it says it on there, and it has his hair on the inside. That was just so sweet. The shirt that they brought him out in, so his very first shirt, he was born at 34 weeks, so he was a preemie, considered a preemie, so he was very small. This is a preemie shirt, but I'm glad it's something that they let us keep. And I also have the thing they used to measure him, which he was 18 inches long. So let's say about this long. He was a very long baby. Like, he was long. Of course, we have his tag that says mail to Smith Mercedes. My last name was still Smith at the time. I hadn't changed it yet. And I have a whole bunch of letters that family members sent for their condolences. So I have those. Our nurse made Adrian a bracelet that says Adrian, so I have that. And I just have a whole bunch of pictures and things in here of him. They are in no special order because I look at them a lot. That was our baby shower with him, finding out what we were having. And it was like a what will it be theme, so hence the bee in the background. As I said, it's in no special order. That was him in the womb. He used to suck his thumb so much, guys. He had a big forehead like his mommy. So let me try to get to some more. This was our 3D picture with him. He did not like the 3D pictures. He was upset. He was pouting. You could see him crying. He was trying to hide. He was like, leave me alone. And my husband and I, my emotional pregnant self, crying because the baby shower was so beautiful. Not even the baby shower. It was a gender reveal, guys. The gender reveal was so beautiful. There's also that. So yes, I have pictures in here. Of course, I have his memories. And one last thing I can't let you guys forget about that's not in the box was the molds that the nurses made for Adrian. Well, for us. This was his foot. And it's just so precious, guys. I really want to go ahead and get a curio, which is thousands of dollars, but I want a nice corner curio that has lights in it so I could have a whole memorial section for Adrian in our home. So I am still in the works of that. Of course, I'm going to paint these like a bronze color and have it in there. The reason I want it to be a glass curio is because we have 2 younger kids now, and I would hate for it to topple over on them, or even these fall out and break, because this is all I have of him left. So yes, we have his foot, and then we also have his hands. So the nurses didn't have to do that, and I just felt that it was so sweet. So it's definitely something that I really do cherish. Okay, so yes, those are the things that I did want to share with you guys. And I did want to go ahead and let you guys know that this is in no way, shape, or form a way for me to get attention. This is just getting my story out there, raising awareness for stillborn. I'm going to let you guys know some tips. Basically, my tips are: get a fetal Doppler. Don't stress yourself out too much, but get a fetal Doppler just for a reassurance, because when they're not moving as much as they usually do, you could save yourself a hospital trip and thinking and messing up your mind because you're wondering if your baby is alive. Put it on your belly and you hear a heartbeat and they're fine. So I do recommend getting a fetal Doppler. I do recommend, if your baby is moving more than usual and then they stop, definitely either go to the hospital or definitely use that fetal Doppler at home just to make sure that everything is okay. Do kick counts daily, guys. Kick counts are important after the 3rd trimester, after you get into the 3rd trimester. So you have to feel that baby moving every hour. So even if you're just eating popcorn on the couch and you feel a bump, okay, you don't have to count after that. But the next hour, you got to feel another movement. And even if the baby is sleeping, the baby will move, because we tend to move in our sleep, so the baby will move in their sleep as well. Okay, so I did make a friend. She's also a stillbirth mother, and that's actually how we met. We both lost our babies at 34 weeks, and our stories are so similar, guys. Our stories are so similar. we basically both felt our babies move a lot, and then there was nothing. So I definitely want to press that on you guys. If you are feeling that and then they're not, please just check. That is all the advice that I do have for you guys. I do want to thank you for listening to our stillborn story. Any of those parents that are watching that went through stillbirth and just want someone to relate to, because that's all I wanted at the time when it happened, was someone to just know what I'm going through. Someone to know what it feels like to lose a baby, like your whole life. So if you need someone to talk to, please don't hesitate to reach out. You could go ahead and go in the comments and let me know some contact info, and I will reach out to you, because even me seeing posts on Facebook about people losing their kids, I always find the mother and I always message them, and I let them know you're not alone. I know this is hard, but you will get through it. I give them a few tips of what I did. I know grieving doesn't work. People grieve in different ways. So I know that they may not grieve the way I did, or what helped them, may not help me, or vice versa. But I let them know, for me, it was just to hold another baby. I know I couldn't replace the baby that I had, but just holding another baby was just everything to me, guys. I met a group of girls. It was 2 other girls that we met around 30 weeks. We were all 30 weeks. One of them was due on April 8th. I was due on April 9th, and the other one was due on April 10th. I will go ahead and insert a picture right here. One of them had a baby early at 33 weeks, or somewhere around that time frame. So that was before Adrian was even born, because of course we were due around the same time. So nothing had happened yet with Adrian, but he turned out to be a beautiful, healthy boy. And then the other one happened to be a few days later, but she's still this beautiful, beautiful little girl. But during that time, around my due date, my friend that had the preemie let me have her baby for the whole day. The day of my due date, she let me take her baby. She brought her baby to me and said, get all the cuddles and kisses in that you need. And I am so very thankful for that, because that is exactly what I needed. No, it didn't replace Adrian, but I needed to fill that void, and that helped so much. So much. Just being around other babies helped me cope better. But I will forever, ever, ever, ever be thankful for her for letting me even get the baby, guys. Of course, she trusted me because we were friends. They were there for me throughout this whole process, trying to get me out the house, trying to see if I needed anything. And yes, they were just very good friends throughout that hard time. And it turned out, like, I watched the little boy so much, even the little girl. They were like my nieces and nephews. So I'd be like, hey, what are y'all doing? Go out, bring me the kids. Bring me all the babies. Bring me all the babies. That's literally how I was. And then I found out I was pregnant again. So, yes, guys. And that's it for our story, guys. I thank you for being patient and listening to this story. And I know that we will be coming out with some more videos soon. I'm sorry I haven't been on top of it as I should have been, but life has been busy. I do want to tell you guys another story on my second child and my third child, how pregnancy was for me after losing our firstborn, because it's not the same. Like, being pregnant for me will never be the same again, because there's always that worry. So I'm definitely going to do another video soon. Be sure to subscribe to us and turn on that notification button to get notifications when we post. Thank you guys. Good night.